Hello, welcome to my channel. Today we'll be learning how to make a pencil skirt right from the scratch, and we're going to be using the technique of freehand. We'll need measurements, waist measurement, hips measurement, and the length of the skirt. To start off, we have our fabric folded into two. It's unfolded at the stretchiest part of the fabric. One fold. Now you get a straight connecting line. From this point, measure the length of your skirt, which is 22, and you add 2 inches sewing allowance for sewing allowance at the waist point and hem allowance at the bottom of the skirt. You do the same thing at another point. You connect this line. The next thing to do is to mark your dart point. To get your dart, you simply divide your waist by 4 to get 7. The result, you also further divide by 2 to get 3.5. So to that 3.5, you mark, then you mark out 1 inch for the dart allowance. Then you mark the quarter circumference of your waist, which is 7. So we have 7 plus the 1 inch dart allowance gives us 8. Remember, we are not adding any sewing allowance to this. This is because the fabric is stretchy. The same thing applies to here. So here you have another line at 9 inches. That's your hip line. Mark your hip line and connect. On the hip line, you mark out your hip measurement. Our hip measurement is 40 divided by 4 gives us 10. Remember, we are not adding any sewing allowance because the fabric is stretchy. At the bottom, we want it to be a pencil skirt. If we were to sew a straight skirt, whatever you measure at the hip is what you measure at the hem of the skirt. But because it's a pencil skirt, I'm going to be deducting 1 inch from the measurement at the hip region. So here I'll have 9. The next step to do is to mark the length of your dart. I take the length of my dart to be about 6.5 to 7 inches. So I take 6.5 because of for this project. And then at this point, remember that that distance from the center front is 3.5. Now we need the sewing allowance. We will be adding the sewing allowance, half of the sewing allowance at the that position. Half, this is 1 inch, so you divide into 2. So this becomes the sewing allowance for one leg of the dart here. The second leg is at this other point. So you add this ½ inch to the measurement of your dart distance, which makes it 4 inches. So you mark 4 inches here, and then you connect. You also connect the hip to waist. To connect to the bottom hem, you move your hip curve up such that it aligns with the initial line you were trying to draw from the top, and then you draw it all the way down. You can complete the rest with a straight line. Confirm your measurements: 10, 9, and 8. Good. So the next thing to do is to pin with the individual wearing the skirt doesn't have bulgy tummy, I take off 1/2 an inch from the center front. The reason is that this point just here to here, I need it to be at 90 degrees because of the curve, so it sits better on the waist. Now after doing that, you need to mark your dart, the beginning of the legs of your dart. You shape it in a way that it looks like this. The reason you do this is you're not going to cut through your dart this way, you're going to cut it this way and then go that way, because when you stitch your dart, it tends to have, if you cut it straight, when after stitching, one end always seems to be shorter than the other. So that's the reason you give a little room up here. The next off is to cut. We're done bringing out the front panel of our pencil skirt. The next thing to do is cut the back panel. We also do a fold for the back panel and then place our already cut front panel, leaving 1 inch allowance for zipper and possibly a slit at the back. So you typically measure your 1 inch, then you place and then you cut. You don't necessarily need to pin the one at the bottom because the weight of the front panel placed on it is holding it in place. So you just cut. Now there's something very important I do at this back. I extend this line, the hip line. After extending my hip line, from the waistline I measure about 18 inches down. It could be longer for someone who is taller. And then I move this aside. From the hip line point, I mark a straight line from there to this point where I took in 1 inch at the bottom. I just connect using a straight line to the hem of the skirt. And that's it. So I come here off. At this point, it's good to notch. So you just slit the remaining into along the center back. We're not done. We still need to cut facing for the waist of the skirt. I'm going to use the pieces of fabric we have left to cut facing, just the way you cut the skirt itself. Making sure the center front is aligned. And we cut it out. You don't need much length. From here down, a 3 inches is fine. If you want more, you can go ahead. But this is just okay. At 3 inches. You also measure your 3 inches here. Then you connect with a curve. I want it to be a bit round at the center front, so I'm adding about half an inch to the center front. Now this is the piece for the center front. You can pin it together. You do the same thing for the back panels. It's good to mark your zipper side. I usually do mine that way so I don't mistake it with the side seam. Also at this point you mark 3 inches, just as we did at the front. 3 inches. And then here we mark 3.5 and to mark it on the piece I want to cut. So you connect. When you get a perfect connection, you draw your line. You just cut it out. And then you divide this into 2 at the center back. Remember the zipper will pass through there. So you can mark this place to show that it's the zipper. And you pin this to the back panel. Center back, center front. Side seam, side seam. Yes, there will be another video showing the stitching stages. Thank you for watching. Please remember to subscribe to my channel and also give this video a thumbs up. Thank you.